So starting now, week 11. So in week 10, we were talking about the sharing rules, the automatic settings there, and we talked about term store and also then some migration tools, and in the end we talked about the mover console. So mover console, two guys and a truck. Well, that's a famous one here in Toronto, so in GTA. But we talked about the mover console. That's online migration between. So there's a question, what did I say about the break? So if we don't have a break, then we can go earlier, but if somebody requests a break, then we will have a break. Okay, let's carry on. Okay. So I'm just gonna connect to that console here. Grab the username, go to incognito window, go for portal.office.com. And log into the root of Microsoft 365. And go down to admin. Then click show all. Now guys, as we're inside the Microsoft 365 admin center, we can check the license here as well. So once you connect to the headquarters, well, it's not a terminology, just for example, I'm saying for like just for reference, it's headquarters. So somebody else asks this, so this is admin center, the terminology for that. And I'm going in the admin center, I'm going for the billing here, and then checking the licenses. So admin center, billing, and licenses. So in the licenses, above the licenses actually, there is product service, your products, this one, above the licenses is your products. And may have checked last time as well. Okay, so E5 trial is shown as disabled, and Power Automate Free and Mobility plus Security E5 trial are active, but yes, the E5 itself is disabled. Now let's see if our SharePoint services, if any of the services we are using and they get affected with that, so we can create our new account. But normally what happens is that after it is disabled, so they put limited access, and that limited access would have some services available and some services not available. I think everyone's account has gone disabled. So I'm just gonna go down here and still click the SharePoint. I'll click the SharePoint here. Okay, so, and if I expand the sites and click the activate sites, Now, you don't have to do that. I'm just gonna click the create button here. I'm not actually creating a site, but yeah, so we're kind of okay. Okay, so I'm gonna go down here. So we were talking about last time the policies, settings, and content services, term store, content type, gallery here. Then we talked about migration manager, other migration solutions, and then the mover, which is acquired by Microsoft, but their logo was not there, but obviously they put a big announcement on their movers page that it is acquired by Microsoft. So other than that, if we go further down here, so there's more features here. So now these features, obviously that's related to more in-depth settings about SharePoint. So I'm going to go ahead. Now we talked about term store already. This is the term store under content services, and this is separately available here as well. So it used to be not there under content services. So they're slowly moving whatever's in the more features area. They're slowly moving that under different categories. So we talked about create and manage term sets to help users enter data consistently. That's what we talked about before. Then there is user profiles, add or remove admins for a user's OneDrive, disable OneDrive creation for some users, and more. So there's a lot of stuff here. So I'm just gonna so this is a user profile inside more features. So first screenshot in fact would be the more features screenshot. So SharePoint admin center, so SharePoint, and then more features section. So let's take first screenshot here, which is SharePoint more features section is the name. So screenshot number 1, and SharePoint more features section. So I'll go for screenshot 1. And it's just the more features area. So first of all, I'll just put it, obviously that would be your screenshot because your name would be showing up here. And if I go there, so screenshot 1 equals SharePoint more features section. You can also just code it, but maybe you're not able to save it with that code. I'm just coding it to show that separate, and okay, so and do one screenshot 1 equals SharePoint more features section, right? Okay, so we have excuse me, already put that. So let's go back to our more features section. So here we have the user profiles because term store is already done, and I'm gonna click that learn more here for the user profiles. And what is user profiles? Manage user profiles in the SharePoint Admin Center. And this article is for global admins and SharePoint admins in Microsoft 365. So create and edit. Most organizations don't need to change any user profile settings in the SharePoint Admin Center, right? Most organizations don't need to change any user profile settings in the SharePoint Admin Center. For the organizations that do need to work with user profile settings, this article describes the most common tasks. So basically, we don't need to change anything here, but we're going to visit there and check out what we can change. Create and edit custom user properties. So in Microsoft 365, identity is managed by Azure Active Directory. And SharePoint receives this profile information as described in the about user profile synchronization. So basically, SharePoint gets obviously all the information about the users from Azure Active Directory. If you need to store additional info about your users, you can create custom properties in the classic SharePoint Admin Center. Suppose normally in Azure Active Directory or in user profiles, which you're about to see, suppose there's a property for department, right? And you can add a property suppose your branches are, or you have a lot of departments, so you can add a property Toronto, sales department window, and yes or no, or marketing department. You can just add more instead of department only window, and you put inside. So you can actually put more properties here. So it's department or head of the department. Suppose there's a department, head of the department is not written there, so you can actually add a property there, head of department, and yes no, you can just put there. So just custom properties that you want to put, or extra information you want to put for the users to show in SharePoint, then you come here. Otherwise, basically Microsoft says you want to do anything, you go to Azure Active Directory. You don't have to really come here in the user profiles. So if we instead of creating user subtypes in the SharePoint Admin Center, we recommend using the Microsoft 365 Admin Center to compare groups, or using the Azure AD Admin Center to create groups with dynamic membership. So again, it's like a department property or any other property you want to, that's there, but you want to add some extra windows there and put some information, you can do that. Manager or senior manager window normally is not there, so you can put senior manager, right? So add remove admins for users OneDrive, we can do that. That's just simply as simple as like add remove users. And then there is manage audiences. So audiences let you customize content on pages so that it appears only to particular people based on their membership in a distribution list or security group, location in the reporting structure. So let's just visit that and check out where is manage audiences and where is then user properties, and overall we're talking about user profiles here. So I'm going to go back here to SharePoint, and let's click that. Click open the user profiles, which is inside more features, which is inside SharePoint Admin Center. So I'm going to click that user profiles and I'll click open. Once we click open, so it opens in a separate tab. And now this used to be the classic user profiles area. Again, Microsoft just says that you don't have to make any changes here because it's getting all the information from Azure Active Directory. So you don't make any changes to the user's profile. Okay, he or she is a manager, or he or she is related to this department. So obviously you can make it in Azure Active Directory. But since it's a feature, since it's a section here in SharePoint Admin Center, so we're discussing. So first of all, you see there number of user profiles, and it says 396. This number could be different for you. Maybe it will show you 5 or 10 there, maybe because you may not have synchronized all the users. Even after synchronizing the users, it may show you a bit different numbers because I may have created some extra users and you may not have created those. So that's the main screen of user profiles. So screenshot number 2 would be SharePoint user profiles. Let's take a screenshot number 2. That is SharePoint user profiles. So excuse me. So SharePoint user profiles, that's the screenshot too. So I'm gonna create a sample screenshot now. SharePoint user profiles, screenshot 2, SharePoint user profiles. Now try to cover those, whatever number you see there, even if you see 0 there, to try to cover what number you see here, right? So it could be different for you, it could be very less, it could be even more than mine. So it depends on how many users basically are there. And so screenshot 2 here, SharePoint user profiles, and I'm gonna take that sample screenshot here. So screenshot 2 SharePoint user profiles, and so dash screenshot 2 dash SharePoint user profiles. Okay, so if we go back to the user profile, so first is manage user properties, manage user profiles, manage user subtypes, manage audiences. So if you go to user properties here, so I'm going to click that under the people, manage user properties, and once you click that, again, this is like you're adding. So you can see here work phone, you can see here phonetic display name, last name, first name, right? So all this SID, security identifier, right? So, and it should have value of string would be alphanumeric, right, or binary, just numbers. A department value, right, manager, about me. So you can see all these sections are there that appear for a user. So which department user belongs to, what is the title of the user, what is the again department value, and string is there. In fact, there are two values of department here, and manager, who's the manager of the user, and about the site as well there is, and it goes on. If you go down, it's a long list of properties that are there, and news feed setting. So it's not only user properties, it's the site properties as well, because actually it's user profile, so it is users, but users services related to sites. If I keep going down, custom properties here as well, and SharePoint related, tenant related properties, that's much more advanced here. But if I go up there, so I could see here department, and as soon as I hover over the department, so there's a down arrow, there's a button here, right? So if I click that down arrow, so there's a delete or there's a edit here, right? So that is again user profiles. Under the user profiles, I went for, oh seriously, if I go back here, I went for manage user properties, right? So manage user properties, and then inside I clicked it again, and one day it's gonna reach. Wow, internet really sucks nowadays, even if you pay a huge well, comparatively. So if I go down here, where was I? In the department area. Now this department, and if I click this arrow button here, so there's edit and there's a delete. Suppose let's click the edit button for the department. Let's click the edit button for the department, which comes after you click this down arrow, right? So if I click that edit, so then all this configuration also appears there, and there's a display name that is showing there, and then there is a configure term set to be used for this property, pick a term set for this property. So normally that's some of the term sets, basically department should show the value whatever is put in the department, but what name you want to show there, you can just change that here. So suppose I go for, and it if it allows us, because our E5 is but Anyway, department, suppose I go for department and dash, this is Toronto branch. I just add a longer term here. So department dash Toronto branch. And maybe there are departments there in Vancouver branch. Suppose there are more branches there. So I'm just changing the name just to check that does it allow us to change, and just to have those features listed there, like just to know that these are the features here, these are the properties that we can change. So first of all, after the department, I put dash and another space dash space and then Toronto space branch. And once we have written that, so if I go down, so it's just policy settings, user description, usage. So for that one property that will appear in the profile of a user, that many changes can be done. Edit settings, allow users to edit values for this property, even end users. Well, that's not a very good idea, and only admins should be changing the properties here. And display settings, show in the profile properties section of the user's profile page, show on the edit details page, and show updates to the property in newsfeed. So whoever made some changes in the property, do you want others to know that? Do you want the users to know that that the change also happened? The actual change, whatever we changed, yes, that will show, but the news notification for the change, should it be given to the users or not? So that's what it talks about, and we don't need to give extra information to the users. Search settings indexed. So obviously, if that change happened way up there, just the name change of the property here, department property. So should it be searchable? Yes, it should be. Suppose somebody is searching for whoever is part of the department dash Toronto branch. So just search that. So yes, it will be searchable because the indexed is section in here below is already selected. And if we just go further down, property mapping for synchronization, there are no items to show in this view. And then there is add new mapping. So this is just you want to map that property to Azure AD, map that property to all the other mechanisms. So you can do that. And security note. So, well, this is just mapping. Specify the field to map to this property when synchronizing user. And what is the source data connection? Suppose we're going for above department dash Toronto branch, right? So do you have some other source? Maybe you're picking up that information from a SQL server, or maybe you're picking up from Azure Active Directory attribute there, and it. So, or you want to import data from some source there, Excel or SQL servers, or data source, any kind of data source. So you can just add that. Now it finishes up here, and there's a OK button here. So the only change I made on this page is that I just put the display name dash space dash space and then Toronto space branch. So it's not the space branch, it's just a space there. Okay. Anyway, so well, maybe in 10 years we will have space branches as well. Okay. If we go way down after just making that name change, so we can then press O and K. I'm going to press OK here, and then I'll check way up above that was there any error. No, actually it accepted that. It just took some time, and but if it accepted, so here it says department dash Toronto branch. So the properties can be changed. Now first name appears there. First name, maybe you want to go for first name, or then there is another property you can add for middle name as well, and then last name / alias you want to put there. So these are all the things that you can do with a user profile by making changes there, right? So that one example was there, that department dash Toronto branch can be changed. So anything else can be changed as well, and it goes a bit more in depth. Also, there are arrows there that you can take up a property there, or sub type of the property.
Excuse me, please.
Yeah.
Well, did you cancel, or you okayed it?
Yeah, I pressed OK.
Okay.
And it should look like this. So Okay, so now user profiles, use this page to add, edit, organize, delete, or map user profile properties. Profile properties can be mapped to Active Directory or LDAP, lightweight directory access protocol, compliant directory services. Profile properties can also be mapped to application entity fields. So suppose you make a change here in the profile property, and there's a hospital there, there's a hospital application. So a hospital application can pick up a lot of information, or actually put a lot of information in SharePoint. If you add some properties here, like senior doctor's name, or are you a senior doctor, or are you a nurse, or patient records, you can just add those properties here as well. So, and you can those properties can be attached to different applications there as well. So SharePoint can be or a SharePoint administrator can really make a lot of sensitive changes or critical changes there as well, in-depth changes, we can say, granular changes, right? So I'm going to copy this and excuse me. So okay, so that's if I go back here, and I'm just gonna go out of this. The purpose was to okay, why am I doing this way? So manage user properties. That was where we were. So I'll just put here manage user properties, and then this. So I don't know what's wrong with this font, and automatically it just should change it in the settings. Okay, so now there's manage user properties here, and then there is manage user profiles there as well. So you can just change the basic properties of a profile, and then there are actual user profiles that are retrieved from the Azure Active Directory. So I'm just going to click that manage user profiles as well, and once we click that, so it's going to go in. It does show 396 for me, and it could be a different number for you. You don't have to worry about that. But I don't see anything here, right? So and there's a category here as well. Obviously, we can find and we will know that. There's a active profile category here as well, and profiles missing from import. Suppose you imported the profile from somewhere manually, then you can just search those. But whatever profiles are active, or whichever users are active, will show up here when we do the search. Now the interesting part is that you can just type here, suppose A, and if you have created a user that whose name starts with A, will show up here. So suppose I type A here and click the find button, so I can see all the users. Oh, there's D as well. So all users whose name has the letter A mentioned here, because they're starting from D as well. If I go further down, E as well, K, J. So it's not just the start letter. If the letter A was used in whatever part of the name, so you might get at least 1 or 2 users or 3 users there, or 390 users, whoever synchronized. So what to do with that? So I see the user Aisha Bihari, Alan Reed, Alana Shaw, Edith Walker, and so on, and email addresses. So what can we do with it? You can see that as soon as I hover my mouse over here, so suppose on Alan Reed, if I just hover, so there's a small arrow that appears here, and for any user a small arrow is appearing. So for Alan Reed, I'm just going to click that arrow now, and this arrow shows you the edit my profile, delete the whole profile, manage personal site for that user, or manage site collection owners. So if that user is a site collection owner, or for any site collection you want to add this user as an owner, so you could do that. So edit my profile, I'm just gonna click that, edit my profile for Alan Reed. So once we click the edit my profile here, so once I click my edit profile here, that's another long page here with the actual profile settings. So for that particular user, what do you want to change? So first of all, it was in the previous section we saw that the basic properties can be changed. Now per user, whichever user you want to change some properties for that user, then that's the page for this. So user profiles, and a first name Alan, last name, and everyone should see that. Show to column shows that everyone should see that, or no one, or some. Actually, whatever is changeable, they have put that. There's a drop down here, and for example, now they let you actually change the or department. Remember that this is the property that we changed, department dash Toronto branch. So it's actually showing there, and I may have shown you before the synchronization from AD Connect, Azure AD Connect, that I have synchronized that name of sales. So that name of sales is showing there. If it's not showing to you, it's okay, it doesn't matter. But some of the properties are changeable and not all the properties are changeable. So if I go further down, so this is, if you see that and you see everyone drop down, so let's click only me instead of everyone. Let's click only me instead of everyone. So this means that this would be hidden to all the other users, and that user itself can see his profile and can see the department. So if you want to change that, this is how it is. Now it's very strange that it used to actually, all the properties used to we were able to change that, but they've obviously changed the whole scenario here, and few properties can be changed. And it makes sense that if you change the first name, it doesn't really, for this particular user, that instead of first name, full first, first and middle name, maybe you want to put there, or maybe there could be a spell mistake. It's a crucial feature, information there for a user, obviously. So they're not letting you change pretty much everything. So personal site, everyone. So the other changeable property is job title, and that is also the only choices are everyone or only me, right? And other than that, you can just put some. Now what website that user has and what public site redirect that user can go, this you don't have to come here to do that. Obviously you can just do that from the Active Directory profiles as well, right? So which site a user belongs to. So all this, and if you hover anywhere here, you're not able to change anything else but few things. So hire date, when was the user hired, right? And everyone can see that, or everyone does not. So now when we keep going down, you can see that you can hide fax, home phone, and office location, past projects, skills, and everything, schools, birthday. So everything can be hidden. Other than that, so these are all the options there. Email notifications. So you don't want this user to be notified for any of the changes that are going on here. People I follow, and then share all of them. Activities I want to share in my news feed. So lots of configurations, and again, what you want to show and what you don't want to show, you can just change to. Some values are by default only me, and in fact you want to show that to everyone, then you can just change that as well. So very interesting user profile, but few changes are allowed to be changed, and all of the changes, well, pretty much not everything is allowed to be changed, right? So that will be screenshot number 3 here, the user profiles, SharePoint user profiles. Screenshot 3, SharePoint user profiles.
Excuse me, sir. Can we use any name on the list because we don't have it when we press the A, we don't have a lot of names.
Yeah, sure, any name. So guys, it's a good question, and yes, you can use any name here. And let's take a screenshot number 3. User profiles with any name, and just on the top your site name should be showing there, and this could be any name. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and take a screenshot here for user profiles. Actually, I would take a screenshot of obviously the above URL because that's where your name is showing as well. So make sure that your screenshot has the above URL showing there. And okay, so I'm just gonna quickly take a screenshot. I think I did, and I'll just put it there. Screenshot 3, SharePoint, well, user profiles, yeah, user profiles, and okay, I'll go to the other side and dash screenshot 3 dash SharePoint user profiles. Okay, so well, yeah.
For when you try to select it, right, under the department, the Toronto branch, you don't have the option to select only me. Is there something different with yours?
Well, if you have changed that property and you're on that particular user, actually we change that property for everyone. So any user you open, it should show, but if it's not showing, it's okay. You can still take a screenshot of this page. Okay, so so yeah, put that picture there, and it could be any picture, and if it's not showing Toronto branch, it's still okay because we just need to know that user profile looks like this, and there are some options changeable. If even if the changeable options are not showing, user profile is there, that we need to make sure that we visited that. So I'm gonna go ahead and in fact if you go at the bottom, there's cancel button there as well, so we can go and at the bottom, I think that was up here as well. Okay, yeah, cancel and go back. So it was here and it's at the bottom. So if you're at the bottom, just click that, or at the top you can also click that. So I'm going to click that, cancel and go back. It does take time to move. Okay, so we're back to user profiles, that page where the actual user profiles can be lined up and edited. So use this page to manage the user profiles in the user profile service application. From this page you can manage user's personal site. Well, yeah, if the user had a personal site. So I'm going to go back here, but in order to go back, does it also show cancel, or do we have to click the browser back button? Serious? Wow, what a navigation. So no up, down, nothing. Okay, so I'll have to go back. No, that's weird. So this means it's gonna take me to this page, and then I could have gone. There was an exit. Okay, anyway, I'm just gonna go back page, and yeah. So people manage user properties, and then there is manage user profiles. We talked about, and then there are manage user subtypes. So there were properties that we could change, and then there is subtypes. Again, this is an advanced option, so I'm going to click that subtypes here. Use this page to manage subtypes for profiles. You can create new subtypes or delete existing subtypes. name for subtype, display name for subtype, and please enter. So if I go back to that profile page, so normally there is supposed to be an example for that too, but normally it's a property that you need to change, and that property can have its subtypes. So suppose we went for seeing the list of properties, and then there were subtypes written there as well, which is just giving you an option to put some value there, or add some feature there, or add just some extra name there as well. So so these are the properties, and these are here, if you we had kept going down like this. So the subtypes are like these, that you can put more options there. It's kind of a bit advanced, and some code in the background is also used for that, but you can add subtypes to any properties there, right? So that's disable OneDrive. Now their documentation is also not very detailed on this, because at the start they say you don't have to even come here and change anything, but obviously it's for the developers and for the designers of SharePoint who really want to add extra options and put some functions there in the background. Than they do for now. If I just go for SharePoint online user profiles and then subtype, oh well, that goes back to 2010 discussions, 2018, wow, 2015, 26, 2021. So user profiles in SharePoint 2013, and basically working with profile subtypes from code. So again, as I was saying, that I just wanted to give an example that you want to add some sub function feature there, then you do have to go for some coding there and try to manage the subtypes and whatever functionality that subtype should do. So that's why just showing you, some of the features. If I just click that one more, allow for different settings for the same property. So in SharePoint, well, online this is like way back, but subtype feature would still do the same thing. You can specify subtypes for profiles. For each profile property, you can configure for which types the property is used. A user will be able to see or edit only those properties that are linked to their profile type. So there are some, again, the main point here is that you want to add some extra features, and you want to put some code in the background as well. If you're a designer plus a developer, so you could just do that. I'm going to go back here. Oh, not that back. Okay. And so I'm just going to, wow, there's no cancel here as well. So nice navigation. So I'm just going to click the back button of the browser. And then there's manage audiences here. So we're going to click that manage audiences. And in the manage audiences, use this page to view audience properties, add and edit audiences, and view audience membership. So what is that manage audiences? So if I go to that other page that we opened, audiences let you customize content on pages so that it appears only to particular people based on their membership in distribution list or security group. So suppose there are users who are added to a security group called sales documentation security group, right? Sales documentation security group. Suppose they're a member of that. So the content on SharePoint, when it is detected that a member of that security group appeared, then only the documentation for sales department will appear, and the user will be able to see those documentations, or any content that you want to show only to the members. Anyone else who comes to the same page will not be able to see that content, which is not meant for those people. But so audience is just if you're a member of certain group, email group or security group, only then you get to see some content. So that's what the main point here is for. So if I go for manage audiences, and I'll just first of all copy this. Manage audiences feature. So I think yeah. So this is the user profiles. Now this has been really very poorly put there. So use this page to view audience properties and add add and edit audiences, and view audience membership. So there's a new audience button here, and since the days of the classic SharePoint, it just simply seems like that, looks like that. So they are doing a lot of a redesign of SharePoint. So in a few months or years, I think it's going to look very different. So what happens is that we're going to click that new audience. We're going to click that new audience, and you can see already all site users. One audience is already there, and it's all site users. So I'm going to click the new audience here. And the name and owner, certify all, or any of the users. So there's that name like sales DEPT, and control A, control C, description, and then owner. So the whoever is the owner of this, whoever can edit this audience here. So we can just put our we can just go here to, first of all we can put the admin, and then we can select this by clicking that user icon. If we click that, now everything works slow here, but yes, it does detect my root user here. And then who are the part of this audience? Is it some specific group, or is it all the users? So there's already a audience created there, which is every user is part of. But then there is satisfy any of the rules. Once we press that, nothing else comes there. Maybe after we create that, then they would have moved the property there. So satisfy any of the rules or satisfy all of the rules includes users who satisfy any of the rules or satisfy all of the rules. So any of the rules would be least restrictive, and all the rules would be most restrictive. So what are the rules? Rules are still that this much content can be seen by the user, and this content, like suppose there are document libraries can be seen, and there are subsites can be seen by the users, but these three document libraries cannot be seen by the users, and others can. So any of those restrictions, what content can be seen and what content cannot be seen. So either some of those rules can be satisfied or all of those can be satisfied. So it's up to you how you want to configure that. So we've just gone for very basic configuration here, and we're gonna press O and K. So I'll press OK here. Now once we press OK, so it now shows you some more options there, and those options, where is okay, so here select the one of the following. Use this page to add a rule for this audience. So whatever audience we selected, and in the previous page, so the next page is about that, what are the rules there. So operand, select user to create a rule based on a Windows security group. distribution list, or organization hierarchy. So if I click the property here instead of the user, so and then it could be suppose we can still go for department here. So why are we picking a property? Why are we choosing the department? That makes the rule easier that if this user belongs to this department, then show the content of the site. If this user does not belong to this department, then do not show the content of the site, right? So the thing is that so that's the operator value then contains or not contains or equals to. Select an operator for this rule. The list of available operators will change depending on the operand you selected. So there's a property and then there's a user. So just to show that property can be that's how it can look like. Let's just go back to the user selection, right? User selection. Let's just go back to user selection, and operator is reports under. So who's the manager or member of which security group or email group, distribution list, Microsoft 365 group the user is a member of, right? Reports to who, member of who, of what. So when we go to the user, these are the two options there, right? So we can select the member of, right, user, and then member of, and then you can just select the group if you have any group there. So it's going to show here. So let's just check that. Do we even have any groups? We can go to this book icon here and select any group, whatever group comes our way. So here, suppose we have any group whose name starts with A, because I just put A and click the search, right? So some of the security groups came up, because I don't remember creating any email group there. So if any group appeared here, we can just give it. So the main thing to understand is just how to do the whole process of selecting the audience. So obviously you select any group here. It doesn't really matter which one. So I can go down to help desk administrator. There's a help desk administrator written there, and select this help desk administrator, and then press OK. So anyone who's part of the help desk administrator is allowed to do or whatever you choose there, or allowed to see this content and not that content. So help desk administrator, if you selected that, let's press OK. So there's well, we have further defined that that these users are part of this, and these are our audience now. So we're just selecting the audience and the users who are part of.
Please, we don't have that.
Okay, so do you see any other, like global administrator, or if I type A and search again, it could be anyone, whatever group you see, it has to be a group, and it's only going to show group. Okay, Keith says global. He see global. If you see global administrator, yes, go ahead for that. I also see global administrator. So let's go for global administrator and press OK. I pressed OK. So yeah, it shows global administrator. So whoever is part of the global administrators is that's this audience profile is consisting of. So global administrator, and press O and K. So once OK is pressed, so I see this page here, right? User profiles, audience properties. So whatever we selected is obviously going to show here, and sales department owner is the root admin, the root user account, and number of members not compiled, membership, members satisfy any of the users, any of the rules. So whatever rules are there, and then there is edit audience. So there is edit audience and there's view membership. Anyway, so if we go down here, audience rules, click on audience rules to edit them. So there is audience rules there, and there is add rule also showing there, right? So overall we were talking about that if these are the audience who belong to this member, this group, then what are the rules there? So there's an add rule showing here as well. I'm going to click that add rule now, right? I'm going to click add rule, and well, that's the same thing that we saw before as well, but this time we could go for actually, when you build the audience, so this is how it is, that you just need to say where they belong to and which group they belong to, and also oh, there was some message. Okay, right? So we're just back here. I'm going to cancel out from here because that's what we already created. We don't need to create another rule there that they should also belong to another group, although we can do that now. We can also make another rule that not only that they should be part of the global administrator, but they should be, if you go to the property, they should be part of this department. In the property, remember that we went for department. And suppose since we all click the rule here, let's click the property as well and make the other rule. As soon as you click the property, you can see after some time that it's going to ask what property, and we can go down to where I was showing you before. So this is a second rule for the audience we are creating, and that is department. So remember last time we selected that property department equals, but then we went for user first, and now we're seeing the department. So in the department you can just say whoever's part of sales, right? In the department that operator is equals and sales. So we can just create another rule. So once you have done that too, then press O and K. So first rule is user, member of, global administrator, right? And second rule is the department should be sales. So this is the audience profile. So screenshot number 4 is going to be audience profile. So let's take screenshot number 4, and it's named audience profile. Screenshot 4, audience profile. Okay. So do one screenshot 4, then audience profile. Okay. Well, excellent navigation. We cannot press OK here. We cannot click cancel. We just have to go. That's why they're just kind of, even the basic features when they are not having there. So they're really discouraging us to use the features. These are part of the classic features, and but these are there, so obviously they can be used. If they didn't want us to use, they would have disabled it or removed it. Okay, so no cancel button, no OK button here. Weird, but let's go back to the main screen of user profiles. So I'm going to click the browser back button. Wow. Back. That was a lot of options that we chose. And back until we reach the audience page. Okay, not. So that's the 6th or 7th back I'm doing. Really? Oh, well, when there's a cancel, whichever page shows you cancel, you can just click cancel, right? Whichever page. You keep going back until you see somewhere cancel. Just cancel it. And it should take us back to the audience page. Really? Was it a different page or? Oh, okay. So when I cancel, it just takes us back here, and there's no OK and cancel here. So we're kind of stuck in the user profiles forever now. Okay, that's I kept on back, and okay. So yeah, I'm there in the profiles page, and if I refresh that, because we did create a profile, although we did not. Yep, there is a profile. So you refresh that, and sales department profile is showing there. And there was one audience, now there are two audiences there. So whichever site has the audience option there, they could just add this, and then these audiences will be able to, whoever's member of this audience, those members can see whatever you allowed them to see. So these are audience profiles here, and again the navigation is so good that I want to go for the main page, and I'll just click back here. Okay, so there's that click user profiles that Jericho, John, and Ahmed and Hamid are saying. You can click user profile and it will also take us there. So yep, you're right. Okay, so there's manage audiences we talked about, and then there's manage user permissions. So let's click that manage user permissions as well under the user profiles, and it just pops up this permissions for the profile. Use these permissions to control who can create my sites and use other features provided by user profile service. Now, my sites is a kind of old feature, and if it is still showing or not, if it's still supported, because in a classic SharePoint, the older SharePoint, it was there. If I just cancel, you can stay here, you can all stay here. I'm just gonna cancel. So SharePoint online my site feature, and that is 2016 page. So some of the features, when you search, it's very old blogs, very old pages, updated pages there that talk about, and older versions of SharePoint only talk about that. And so what is my site? SharePoint OneDrive is yours, your personal site. So what is my site? SharePoint. OneDrive is your personal site on Microsoft SharePoint 2013. My site is your personal site on Microsoft SharePoint. See, again, information is too old. Normally Google always gives the latest information, but that feature is just in the classic section. We are talking just going to the classic section here. That's why this is appearing there. I'm going to go for manage user permissions again. I'm going to click that, manage user permissions again, and so to add an account or group, type or select it below and click add. So account, we can just add our admin account, which is the root account. I'm just gonna click refresh and it detects that. And I'm going to click the add button here as well after it detects that. I'm going to click the add button here as well. And it gets added to the list, the window below. And then if I go down further, so what permissions you want to give to the user that you added above here. So if I go down, there's a create personal site. So you could allow or not allow. Well, I'll just click that and then follow people and edit profiles. So you want this guy to be able to edit the profiles of other people. Suppose you want to, then you can go ahead and click, and also use tags and notes. So these are some of the features. You want to give to somebody, give it. You don't want to give, don't. So pretty straightforward. And so these are the features showing there. And so let's take a screenshot of this page. Permissions for user profile, screenshot 5. Permissions for the user profile, screenshot 5. Permissions for the user profile. Permissions for the user profile. One screenshot 5. Permissions profile. Okay, so let's go ahead. Alright guys, so we're back from the BSOD, and hopefully you're able to hear my voice, and hopefully lagging. Oh man, really? I hope Bell is not doing its magic. Or hopefully you're able to hear my voice and the quality is good, or it is okay, or you're able to understand what I'm saying. Still lagging? Ah man, serious? Okay. It's not very clear. It's stuttering. Oh man. Stuttering. Okay. I will go slow. Well, after restart, normally all the sources are refreshed, so it should be good. Guys, are you still able to hear me? Any changes here? Okay, good now? Okay, Keith says good now. Alright, thank you. So, it's better. Okay, great. So, let's carry on, guys. And I'm going to go back to where we were, which is... oh man, serious. Sorry, incognito mode. It does not recover the incognito mode. That's strange. It recovers the other ones. Portal.office.com. What? Okay, we're trying to... interrupted, yeah. My connection was interrupted. Okay, I'll just put that... that's not in tune. Putting this password and then go back to what we were doing. Admin. Sync all. Oh, show all. Yes, sync all. SharePoint. And then more features. Okay, so there's user profiles we're talking about. I'm just going to click the user profiles, open. And we took a screenshot of manage user permissions. I think we were able to do that. And yeah, permissions for this one, screenshot 5 was there. So we can go for manage policies here. That's the next one. After manage user permissions, it's manage policies. I'm going to click that manage policies here, and then we go down here to use this page to manage policies for user profiles service application. These settings will affect user profiles and my sites. So service application is well, it's mainly used in on-premises SharePoint, and again a classic feature or older SharePoint related feature. So since the make my sites public feature is enabled, the people on my site policy and all policies under privacy settings are being ignored. So this is saying that whatever settings are done below here are resulting in what they mentioned here. So suppose we want to get up, it says here in the column policy. So what are those policies? Suppose I go for first name here. There's a first name written here, right? And once you click that, it just shows up edit policy, or you can go to the arrow button. It also just shows the same thing, right? So I clicked on top of that and the edit policy popped up, or you can click this arrow sign and the edit policy. If it pops up, go ahead and click this edit policy. Guys, anyone using this SharePoint on Edge? Like not you on Edge, the browser Edge. Anyone using on browser Edge? And no one, right? So okay, everyone's on Chrome. Oh, Eric, you're using on the Edge browser, Microsoft's browser. Oh, okay, that's cool. So if you see anything different than what we're seeing in Chrome, so a few times it happens that some advanced features sub feature might not show in Chrome, but it does show in the Microsoft browser, because it's a Microsoft product, so they would just hide something that should show only in Microsoft's own browser and not in somebody else's browser. But this was true for the SharePoint with the Internet Explorer when I was doing that course way back. So not way back, like 1-2 years ago. Okay, so user profiles and properties settings. So what is a policy for the first name? That's what we're just checking here. Specify property settings for this property. The name will be used programmatically for the property by the user profile service. User profile service will use this name. Okay, pretty straightforward, right? While the display name is the label used when the property is shown after the property is created, the only property setting you can change is the display name. So, well, obviously with in first name, what else can you change here, right? And this is the whole page here that does offer some insight, but obviously other properties might show some they might let you change something there. So first name here, or you could just say first name of the user. Again, it's a display name, and this opportunity we were with this kind of feature we saw back there in the properties as well. So pretty much we can see that this is also being referred to as policy. There's subtype of profile that is also showing there. In the subtypes, you could have added some more subtypes there if extra functionality you want. Obviously, it does make sense that what else can we add there in the first name other than just change the display name here. So first name of the user, and pretty much nothing here. If I just made that change, and then if we go down to the bottom, we can press O and K. So let's click press OK. Let's click press. Wow. So So it does change that property, but that option still was there within. So, but they call it policy here. So what's the policy for? If you go for any other thing here, suppose there's a title here, there's a work phone here, right? This work phone. And if you click on top of the work phone, or you go there to the work phone and to the drop down arrow until you see the added policy. So let's go inside the work phone. Maybe it's different, but obviously we saw the exact same page back there as well when we were going to the properties of the profile. And so if I click the work phone and edit it, so it also shows what we can change and what we cannot change here. So policy setting here, so it just shows that this is a required field or optional field. So you want to give your work phone or you don't want to give, so it's up to you. The policy here just says that for the work phone, yes, it's going to be required. So that's one thing. Second thing is replicable. This was there as well in the previous page for the first name. Replicable just means that you can update that information to some other application. But the extra setting here that we can also change is required or optional. Suppose we go to optional, that you want to give your work phone or you don't want to give, it's up to you, right? But the policy was by default dictating that it's a required field, but we can change just to know that yes, we can. And if we go down further, what else we can change? So it's pretty straightforward that whatever feature you don't want, and if they let you make any changes to that feature or its properties or its subtype, then you can just change it otherwise. So this is also called user profile policy, that you can just make changes to some of the settings. So it's actually says policy settings, and this policy setting we just change from required to optional. So for whatever main window or main option, you have some kind of policy settings. So you need to, whatever you want to change, you need to go there and then explore that what you're allowed to change and what you're not. So screenshot number 6 would be user profile policy settings. Screenshot 6 would be user profiles policy settings. Screenshot 6 user profile policy settings. I'll go for screenshot 6 user profile policy settings. Screenshot 6 user profiles policy settings. Okay, so what we then go back to is the user profile policy setting. So there we just change the required to optional just to check that, okay, so we can make changes to the policy of any of the property here for the profile. So I'm just going to press OK here after just changing the required for the work phone to optional. And I'm going to press OK. Once it is pressed OK, yeah, so this is overall what we can understand from here, that it's just you can make more policy settings changes. So normally it is required optional, required optional, required optional. So it's a full list of what you can go for, what is required here, what is optional, and you can just go inside and change the optional to required or required to optional, right? Okay, so if we go back here, where the navigation again, so where do I click to go back? Okay, the browser back button again, or any other intuitive button here that I missed? Nope. Oh, user profile itself is clickable. Seriously? Okay. So this button itself that looks like it doesn't look like a link, but I clicked on that and so okay. Anyway, so seriously, we're sometimes very easy things are missed, and some much more complicated things we don't miss. I don't miss, but very easy things I miss. Okay, so here my site settings. Now my site is not really, so what is my site? It would be obviously when you created a subsite, when you created a site collection. So well, you can create that and refer it to as your site, or refer it to a department or branch or team or whatever site, right? So well, this feature is deprecated or is about to be deprecated or discontinued. So we can just still explore that my site settings. Suppose you join a company that has an older version of SharePoint, so in that case, so I'm going to click that, set up my sites here, and then it shows preferred search center for that site. There's a URL that is already there, and it ends with /search/pages. So it's search center /pages. So if you're able to create a subsite, we can refer to it as subsite because we did create that, and site collection as well. So it just says that when you create a subsite, the search option there should take you to this link. Suppose you don't want that, preferred search center. It says search center here. Now I'm gonna fully copy it because I would paste it again, but I just did Control-C on it, right? You don't have to do that actually. I'm just gonna Control-C on it, and then I'll go at the end and simply start removing until I reach https:// You don't have to do that. And suppose I go for google.com, that it's just saying that preferred search center, right? but you don't want to search the internet always. You want to search for a company document, because SharePoint X has an intranet as well that has your internal documents. So obviously it's not necessary. In fact, it would be more important to have your local search link that should first search locally, and yes, if you don't find something, then it should search outside as well. But SharePoint is all about your internal documents and sharing to that, and well, there's much more to that. So I'm just saying that it can be another search engine as well, but I'm just gonna put it back to Control V, which I copied. So this is the default link, and obviously it should search within SharePoint, because you're gonna come to search within SharePoint when you want to search something in SharePoint. Obviously, if you want to search outside, you would just directly go to Google, right? Okay, so other than that, search scope for finding people is people. So people has the list of all the users from which it's going to grab from the user profiles, as well as if there's some entry there in Azure Active Directory that it can grab from there as well. But basically, obviously, user profile has already synchronized with Azure Active Directory, so that's where it's going to search for people if you're just looking for someone. And my site host here, so this is going to be the link there for the my site. Normally we just still go for subsites there, and you can refer it to as your site. And these are the main portal links there: portal underscore site, location, personal site. So they do mention the personal site there option. Now we're logged in as admins, right? We're not logged in as end users. Suppose I go back to this. So yeah, this is the admin, right? So Power Automate, Dynamics, Yammer, Teams, SharePoint. So SharePoint is there for a user as well. I didn't go to the admin center. I'm going to one user's profile here that also has a SharePoint application that one user can use. So if I click that SharePoint for one user in my login page, so there is create site for one user. Although it's a root user, it has all the privileges, yes, but there is a create site here for one user, and communication site. Yeah, we've gone through all that. We've created the sites. I'm just going to click here, create site, and it just takes me to that same option there, and that same option is what we have used already, the subsite or the site collection you want to create. So what I was trying to show here is that you don't see my site written anywhere here. Yes, a subsite could be, if you have been given the rights, you can just create a subsite and just put your name there and all your projects that you're working on. So you can create site collection or subsite, right? Normally subsite you can't create from here. You have to go inside the site collection and then go to site contents and then create a subsite. So if I go back here, my site settings, so it's showing the classic SharePoint features there, and these settings are deprecated, so we're not really having these features available. But since they I think they have it because of the backward compatibility. So suppose you have 2013 SharePoint still there and you haven't upgraded in your company the on-premises, so you want to control some features from online SharePoint which is connected to your on-premises older SharePoint, so it's backward compatibility related, because of that the older features are there. So and nothing to do here right now. I'm just going to go down here. We just need to know that it's there for backward compatibility, and you can just if this SharePoint Online is connected to SharePoint on-premises, then you may just control these features for that SharePoint on-premises. Okay, I'm just going to go down here and I'm going to click cancel. I'm going to click cancel here. So we talked about the user profiles, right? And so we've gone through these features just to check that what is the purpose of these features there. Should we go there? Should we not? And what exactly is the benefit? Other than that, we just need to go back to our main SharePoint site, which was talking. So I'm just going to click that SharePoint here, not this one. The share and point, this one. So SharePoint Admin Center that we need to go for. I'm just going to close this. Yeah, SharePoint Admin Center. The Green Man. I think there was a TV series for Green Man as well. So okay, SharePoint, and so if we go down here, this is the more features that we were talking about till now, and user profiles. Then there is the search here as well, and we may have talked about that search for a site and for a site collection already. So this is on the admin center level that you have the search. So I'm just going to click that, open the search within the features in admin center. So I'm going to click open here for the search, and it opens under the tab. And that's a long list of search related features that we have discussed before as well. We have gone through those options of search, but overall, what's the purpose of this is that you can make changes to the search just like Google did, and is the top search engine. And you can, one of the example would be that suppose the CEO has created a file called accounts.xlsx, right? So that Excel file is accounts. Now somebody is looking for accounts file in the SharePoint, and the Excel file called accounts by the CEO should not be coming in the search. Or the user is looking for some auto part in, suppose it's auto company, and user is looking for some auto part like engines or any other parts there. So you may just change the search to whatever are the latest information pages there in the SharePoint site. Or they should come first on the first page, or the first 20 links should be the latest information about the engines, and then should it go for or most relevant one, or according to, you can just make that search very advanced. So if you're a website developer or SEO especially search engine optimizer, then you would know what to do here as well to make the search better for your SharePoint site. We talked about that in site collection, and pretty much these are all those features that we already talked about before as well. So I'm going to go back here. So in the SharePoint Admin Center, in the more features area, then we have this apps, and that is configure SharePoint store settings, monitor app usage, manage app licenses, and more. So there's all about how you want to add apps there, and then so I'm just going to click that, learn more here. Customizing SharePoint. In earlier versions of SharePoint, it was possible to make changes to a SharePoint environment by deploying custom code that would run in the physical SharePoint server's environment. Changes made to SharePoint that didn't require the deployment of custom code were referred to as customizations. This is just about customizing SharePoint. Okay, so either you put a code, or you just make some optional configurational changes there to customize your SharePoint. And then comes branding. Modern SharePoint sites allow you to change the look of the site by modifying elements such as the site logo and the colors. Yeah, we can brand them as well. No big deal here. Nothing new. This page about apps actually takes us to the navigation. You can set it up. We talked about navigation as well. Page content, you can just add web parts there. adding modern web parts, right? These are just widgets, small widgets there that you can add. And then there's workflows, and that is Power Automate. We talked about that briefly as well. The forms that you can create, which I still need to show. We haven't done that. Actually, there's another topic coming, and that topic is one path, and that also just talks about the forms. So then we're going to talk about the forms. But right now, it's if we go down, it's talking about everything but apps. While the link actually is about, I clicked the link for apps. So if I go back there, this is a learn more. I clicked. I think I did click this one, right? I'll just check. Yeah, it just takes me to the. So it's old documentation, I think, and they may not be even paying attention a lot to this more features, which is all older SharePoint features. But apps is the option there. So I'm going to click that open for the apps. I'm going to click the open button. So once we click the open button here, so there's the app catalog. Make apps available to your organization and manage requests for apps. And an app catalog is required to disable store purchases for end users. So there is a store, obviously, that is Microsoft Store, and you can just make all the purchases there. But then there is also, if you don't want the users to be wandering around the Microsoft Store and doing all the purchases, then you need to create an app catalog. So if we click that, so I'm just going to copy this. Okay, let's click the app catalog. I'm going to click the app catalog. Once we click that, so it just says there's no app catalog site created for your tenant. Create a new app catalog site first. So that option is already selected. The app catalog site contains catalogs for apps for SharePoint and Office. Use this site to make apps available to end users. So you could just, as an admin, go to the Microsoft Store and so suppose the company says, okay, we need to purchase this app or that app, maybe for a signature app for your Outlook. So you as an admin can go to the signature app, add it to the app catalog, and then make it available for the end users instead of every end user having direct access to the Microsoft Store where anyone can officially add any app. So this is just the app catalog. Let's press OK here because the option is already selected here. Create a new app catalog site. So I'm just going to press O and K. And then it just shows that what you want to put here. So well, it is a company app. So space app space catalog space dash space your first name. So company app catalog and dash your first name. And then it does want to know about the site name. So yeah, that could be app catalog, right? App catalog. So the full site name would be this, and slash sites app catalog. Then there is language selection, time zone. Time zone, we can just fix that to Eastern Time, US and Canada. And then yes, we have to define the administrator as well. So it would be obviously the admin root account or anyone in your organization, up to you. I'm going to click type admin here and click the user synchronization button or refresh button. Okay, so here server resources quota, resources of 0 resources available. Ouch. Okay, you know why that is there? Normally it shows 300 resources there, but it shows 0 because I think that membership is disabled for E5. Let's see if it lets us go ahead from there. But app catalog, site collection, this is the setting for creating a site where you can add apps for the end users, right? So this is that site that we are creating there. And I'm just gonna press O and K here. Okay, so it does let us create that. Manage your site collections in the new SharePoint Admin Center. Go to the active sites pages, and obviously it's a site that just like any other site that we created in active sites in SharePoint. So it is also a site. So if you all see this page, let's click on this page. Go to the active sites pages page. Let's click on go to active sites page. Let's click here. And our so company app catalog site collection is created. Okay, so that's again straightforward stuff that you have to, when you're configuring apps, you should have a site to which you can just add apps. Now if I click, let's click on this company app catalog. Let's click on this company app catalog, and then this page comes, right? And the URL for the app catalog is this. So what we can try to see there is the template, what template they have used there to create an app catalog. So let's click on this URL and it will open in a new tab. Let's click on this URL. Okay, so that's how it looks like, the company app catalog. Distribute apps, and it has those features that are suitable for apps. So it says here distribute apps for SharePoint and distribute apps for Office and manage requests for apps. So all those are app related services. And app requests, so there's app requests there as well, and then there's new item, and that also asset ID, app title, edit, content market, billing market, requested by, status, approved. So these are all the app requests that will show here on the app catalog website. Okay, so this is app catalog not showing up under active site. So guys, anyone app catalog not showing up for you? Is it showing for everyone? So Khalid, if we can go back here and refresh the page. I'm sure you must have refreshed it. If not, then go ahead and refresh. So yes, everyone else sees that. Go ahead and refresh the page. And I hope there was no error there when you were creating that. It now shows. Okay, cool. So guys, once you click, and then this will open, window will open, then click the URL as well. So once you click the URL, it should just simply pop up here. Yeah. So we see that there's an app catalog, so that would be screenshot number 6. The app catalog site. 7. Screenshot 7, SharePoint app catalog site. Screenshot 7, SharePoint app catalog site. Screenshot 7, SharePoint app catalog site. So I'm going to take that screenshot. App catalog site. Alright, so there's a request for break time. Let's break the time. Okay, so then the next question, how long? Quick. Okay, if class starts at what, 15 minutes, 10 minutes? Okay, Keith is 10. Class, yeah. Hmm? Okay, I thought that was a question. So class starts, there's a 10 there, so okay, 8:11. Okay, there's a request about 20 minutes. Well, 8:20 then. Class starts 8:20. Oh, let's get going. Oh. So what we were doing was screenshot 7. Okay, so we were talking about the app catalog site first of all. So the screenshot 7 was the screenshot of the app catalog site, and then well, that's a separate URL that's open up there. So we're gonna go back to that app section inside SharePoint. Well, this is not it. If we go further back to the other tab, there's that apps section. So SharePoint Admin Center, more features, and then apps here. So I'm just going to click that, open, and then it opens still up on the other tab. So we were there on the first one, that is app catalog, and then it just says that it's for collecting all the apps there and for the end users. Now the second thing is the purchase apps here. Purchase apps from the SharePoint Store. So first you create a catalog site, and then you can go for the purchase apps from the SharePoint Store. So let's click that purchase apps URL as well. Let's click this purchase apps now. So sorry, this site does not support apps, but you can still acquire them and add them on other sites. So this site does not support apps. well. So I think it may mean that it's not supporting for SharePoint. Actually, it's a SharePoint store itself, so it does not support that app that we're talking about, or where we're coming from, which page we're coming from. But can still acquire them and add them to other sites. Now, if we go for any of the apps here, so Adobe Sign for SharePoint Online, and then Nintex Workflow. So we talked about Power Automation Workflow before as well. So these are some of the apps that are showing their Adobe Sign for SharePoint Online. This and Adobe Sign for SharePoint Online as well. Both seem like the same. If you see that Adobe Sign SharePoint Online for SharePoint Online here, this one, or any other app that you see there, if suppose this one, Adobe one, you don't see, and you see some other, you can just click that. So let's click the Adobe Sign. I'm going to click that Adobe Sign for SharePoint Online. Hopefully everyone also got it, and it is free. So this site does not support apps, but you can still acquire them and add them. Okay, so it keeps on saying that, hey, why are you here? Didn't we tell you that it's not supporting the apps? Okay, so where we are coming from in SharePoint, so that's the apps section. That is, well, it belongs to the classic SharePoint or the older SharePoint. So they've removed the Microsoft Store, Microsoft Store related connectivity, seems like that, to the apps section from where we're coming from. So I'm gonna click, since there's no added button there, so there's no benefit. Hey, it's still clickable? Seriously? No. Okay, it just changed to hand, but it doesn't actually click. Obviously, it's grayed out. So we're gonna go back here with the back button of the browser. How did you get there? John says, yeah, no, wait, okay, because I'm just coming back and there's no benefit. So I'm just gonna keep coming back here because excuse me, this message would come for any app that you want to add. I'm sure it's gonna come, but I'm just quickly doing that to another app. Hey, there's an added here. Although there's a, sorry, this site does not support apps, but you can still acquire them. Okay, so guys, do you see in this app true? Is that true that you see true copy paste? Well, I'm just gonna click that, although that message does come, but the add it button is also there, so that's very strange. So I'm gonna click that true app here. Maybe some other apps also show that. So I'm gonna click that true, and is it true that it's going to add true to the SharePoint app store? So I'm gonna click that add it button that is blue, and confirm that you wish to add the app. Oh, it goes ahead. So I will click continue, right? We're getting the details of your new app. Okay, oh, whoa, we're not purchasing that. Select purchase to buy this app, or select cancel to return to the app detail page. Okay, so we're definitely not purchasing the app. So I'm gonna cancel out from here. What I wanted to just see there was that if, hey, it says here free, and later it says there purchase. Really? Okay, since, well, so this means that commercially it's available, but even the free apps are not free. So I'm gonna go still back, and well, that message really stays there, that for apps it's not supporting it. So I'm just gonna keep going back until we reach where we started from, this page, right? So once you're there on this page, purchase apps, so this pretty much does not work, or the app store, SharePoint storage is no longer connected to this. Now we do know that if we wanted to add the app from within the site collection, we did see that, or we in fact, if I go there excuse me, you don't have to do that. I'm just going to show here sites and active sites, and I'm going to go to any site here. In fact, the site catalog. And if the site catalog connects there to the App Store, then definitely I will ask you to go there. So distribute apps for Sharepoint Store. Content delivery network. What is? And I'm just clicking it. You don't have to do that, guys. No, it's not connecting us to the store, but any downloaded app from the computer, it says that you can download. So it's officially it's not connecting us to the store. Well, there's Sharepoint Store here. Guys, just wait and let me check it out. I connected from Sharepoint Store and Adobe app, working on it. Oh, cancel. So guys, now I'm gonna take you there slowly. I was just quickly checking that. So what am I checking? See this? We were here, right? So purchase apps, they're saying that no, we're not connected through here. So you remember that we created the app catalog, and screenshot 7 is about the app catalog. We need to go to that site now. The app catalog that we created, we need to go there. So I think it is already open in the other tab. If it is not open for you, so you can go back to SharePoint, right? And then go up to the sites. We need to reach that catalog page, right? Catalog site that we created. So we need to reach there. So active sites, and once you click the active sites, then you should see your company app catalog. Why are we going there? Because if we're not connecting to the Sharepoint Store, or the Sharepoint Store from the purchase apps page from this area, if it is not working, then it should be working from app catalog site. If it's not working from here, it should work from here then, right? So that's what I quickly checked first, that instead of we all going slowly and then it doesn't work, so I just quickly checked there and went there and checked, So if you are there already on company app catalog, you click that and then you simply click the URL. So hopefully everyone's there on the company app catalog page, which I am already there, and that is this site. We already took a screenshot of this. So what we can do is that there is a Sharepoint Store option. The left top is there, that you're all seeing. Hopefully you're there. Hopefully everyone's there. So click that Sharepoint Store now. Sharepoint Store in the app catalog site. So once you click the Sharepoint Store in the app catalog site, so it takes you to the Sharepoint Store, but the first thing that we see there is that the message is gone now, that it does not support. So this means that we can actually add to the catalog, as it stated earlier when we were creating the catalog site, that if you create a catalog site, you will not have a direct connection to the Sharepoint Store. You will have to add it to the catalog site and then offer it to the organization, right? So it's exactly that. So once you're in the Sharepoint Store, so hopefully everyone sees the Adobe Sign Sharepoint Online, the red icon there. If you all see that, if anyone doesn't see that, you can go for some other one as well. I'm going for Adobe Sign Sharepoint, the red one, and let's click that. Once you click that, well, the point is just add it to the catalog, right? So if we go for this free add it, well, let's just click the add it now. And so on this page, do you trust SharePointOnline.echosign.com? So, well, okay, yes, we trust it. Well, there is no other way to go ahead. So let's click the trust it. So once we click the trust it, then it takes us to this page. Well, actually that's the SharePoint site page. You know, that company app catalog page where it has it's supposed to have apps for SharePoint, apps for Office. So obviously it would have added it here. So I'm going to click that. If you have all landed on this page, then you can just refresh first of all this page. There's a refresh button on the top here, and then check it out if you see the Adobe app here, if it's been added to the catalog or not. So I'm just going to refresh this page up here, and yes, Adobe Sign now shows up when we have refreshed the browser page. So that Adobe Sign is added to your app catalog, but it's no longer available through the apps option back there. So screenshot 8 would be the app added to SharePoint app catalog. So Adobe Sign should be showing there, and screenshot 8 would be app added to SharePoint app catalog. Well, that's a long name, but app added to SharePoint app catalog. Screenshot 8, app added to SharePoint app catalog. So I'm just gonna take a screenshot of screenshot 8 where the app is showing. Screenshot 8, app added to SharePoint app catalog. Right? 121. Screenshot 8, app added to SharePoint app catalog. All right, so if we go for if we go back to this here. So the app catalog, the app has been added to the app catalogs, and this is all we can just keep on adding. Now we could go to the home page of the app catalog here. Back, we can go back to the home page of the app catalog, and there's a distribute apps for SharePoint written there. There's a distribute apps for Office written there, and manage requests for apps. So if there are any app requests, then that would be handled here. So apps for SharePoint, we already have one app here, but there's an option for distribute apps for SharePoint. So if we click that option, what make apps available to your end users, right? So I'm going to click that. Let's go ahead and click the first option here, distribute apps for SharePoint. So I'm going to click that option now, and above there, the CDN or the content delivery network improves performance by caching static assets closer to the browsers, requesting them. Learn more CDN. CDN is basically the content delivery network that every cloud provider offers. Now apps for SharePoint is showing there, and this is apps for SharePoint. Drag here to upload, and all apps, featured apps, unavailable apps. If I click the featured apps, this one, right, or if I go for unavailable apps here, so right now we're on all apps. So let's click the new button here and check that what are the options that it offers to us. What we're expecting is that we should be able to distribute the app that we just added to the app catalog to the end users, right? So we should be able to distribute to the end users. So let's click the new button here for apps for SharePoint. Once we click the new button here, well, it actually shows that you have to upload a file here, and it's not getting or adding there, although Adobe Sign is showing on the left side as well. Now obviously we did not download any app, and it has to be in a proper format for the app to be uploaded. So if I click the choose files, which we don't have to because we didn't download any app there. This app was not downloaded. This was just added directly to the catalog, right? So we don't have to come here. Although yes, if there's a downloadable version or download and then upload version of that same app, yes, we can just do it this way as well. I'm going to cancel out from here. Right? So that's one thing, and it seems to be working only when there's you upload the file and then share it with others, right? So the app for SharePoint, but then on this same page you see adopt sign directly as the app that we added to the SharePoint portal, app catalog portal or site. So if I click that adopt sign, so we're inside. It's just opening the console for the adopt sign that we added in the app catalog. Okay, it's still thinking. Wow. It won't open? Hamid says it won't open at all. Oh, there is on the top right. Sorry, we had some trouble accessing your site. Fix it. If the fix it button doesn't solve this issue, click here for more information. I'm just gonna click the fix it. With fingers crossed. Right, okay, so yeah, it's still showing this. I think for no one it's opening. Okay, I'm just gonna refresh this browser page as well as a last resort, and then we're gonna go back. Wow. If anyone, well, I'm sure many of you may not be working in incognito mode. For those who are not working in incognito mode, is it the same? It does for me. Okay, Keith says it works. Keith, are you working in incognito mode or normal mode? So anyone working in normal mode, like not incognito, is it not working for you? Oh, incognito. Okay, so you are working in incognito, and it's working for you. So it's not just incognito mode. Well, okay, so for maybe majority it's not working. Work for me in normal. Okay, Andrew says work for me in normal. Hamid says I'm in normal and doesn't work for me. Oh, so it's different for different people. So Nirvana says mine in normal mode. Okay, mine in normal mode and working. Okay, Yusuf, I'm in normal and it works. So it's different results. We can just basically say one thing, and that is welcome to Microsoft. Okay, no, it's not just all Microsoft. If it was Microsoft to blame, then why all the banks have Microsoft? Why all governments have also Microsoft? Military institutes have Microsoft. So obviously they are delivering good, but obviously nothing can be perfect. Well, anyway, we can't just wait for it. Although if we stare at it for 1 minute straight, just this light, right? So if you might get hypnotized as well. So don't try to stare at it, right, for longer time. Okay, anyway, it's not working for me. So guys, if it's working for you, what I wanted to just they're trying their best. Yeah, there you go. They're trying their best, exactly. So the purpose, why were we coming here? To distribute the app to the end users. Basically that was the purpose, right? But it doesn't seem to be working here. So I'm gonna go back, and I'm gonna click the browser back button here now because it's not working. If it's working for you, it's okay. Still go back because we can't do anything. Like, I can't show you what else to do. So I'm gonna click back again, and back. Okay, well, I'll just go to the other site. Back and aggressive back. Okay, now we're back to that page. So apps for SharePoint, I just click that, and yes, we can just download and upload from this particular page. And I'm just gonna click once more, but I'm not gonna wait long. I'm gonna click once more the adopt sign, but I'm not gonna wait for a long time. And if it does not load right away, and this is about to be right away in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so I'll just go back. It may or may not work, so this is how we're seeing it all. For some it is working, for some it's not working. But the idea behind doing all this is that it does offer you the distribution mechanism through the site. Well, it should offer. For some it is offering to distribute. Anyway, so let's just go back to the the catalog site here. So I'm just gonna further go back from the browser to the catalog. I'll just oh, there was a home button here. Oh, there it is. So we're on the center on the main page, on the home page now, and we try to do this, distribute apps for SharePoint, but you have to download and upload it here, and then you can distribute. Obviously, when you purchase an app from SharePoint Store, so they would all know this feature as well. The third-party companies who have put their apps there in the SharePoint Store, they would offer the download and upload version as well for SharePoint, citing this feature. So what I can do is I'm going to quickly go for SharePoint Store again. Let's go to the SharePoint Store again, just to quickly try to find one more option, and that is, can we download this, right? So if I go to I'm back to SharePoint Store here, and I could just go for another application, True. This is True, but this is True. I'm clicking this, and let's click that, True. Do you see anywhere add okay, more actions is there? Remove, recover license, request license, report a violation. I think this is purchase one. So, and developers video, there's no download button here, right? So suppose your company really needed that and you don't see the download button, obviously you would just contact their support and simply ask them that, hey, can you just provide that download button, so I could just download it and upload it, and well, we'll test it in our environment, and then we can decide to purchase. So all that, right? So some sites might offer the download button right away on these pages, or if you contact the support, then they will offer. I'm going to click back here just to give an example. Just wanted to go here again. So it also does not show any license. It's just license here. Okay, I'll just keep going back. But this is easily available. It's not impossible. You just go contact the support of that, the vendor of that application, and they will happily provide you. Obviously, you're gonna purchase a license, so they will happily provide you the downloadable version. And a little more effort, and you can actually find yourself a downloadable version that you can upload here and then distribute to end users. Now, this is first button here. I'm on the main page again, and distribute apps for Office. So this is the option here as well. I'm just going to click that, and then I'm going to click that manage requests for app. Actually, that's just a request. But here, distribute apps for Office. I'm just going to click that too. And it also has new and upload on the left side. Obviously, all those options are there. Apps for Office. Then there's app requests. So while we are here, we can just click this app requests here as well, and whatever requests had come would appear here, and then you can, so suppose, hey, download for me the that adopt sign, and you can just go for that. So we overall just talked about this. I'm just going to click the home button here, and we're back. So we don't need to do anything else other than that. We understand that, okay, it's not just adding the app and you can't distribute it like that. You just have to, or when you went inside the adopt sign, there should have been a download option. For those it was working, it was loading. You can actually confirm there that if there was a download option there, right? Well, since it's not gonna open for me or for many of us, so we can just go back and explore the rest of the features of the apps. But once the application is added, I think we are supposed to be able to download and then upload for distribution purpose, right? Okay, I'm gonna go back here, and this is let's just go back to what we were doing. In the SharePoint, we need to go back to that apps area in the features, right? So I'm gonna click that SharePoint, and in the SharePoint Admin Center, we were here on more features, and then we were here in apps, right? More features and apps. So I'm going to click that open apps again, and we were talking about the second feature, purchase app. Now let's go for the third one, which is manage licenses. So this is pretty straightforward, that if you have purchased the apps, the licenses would just simply show up here. So I'm going to click that manage licenses now. And that app is showing up there, which we added, Adopt Sign, and license type is free, and purchaser is the root admin account. So that's how it's going to look like. Okay, no big deal here. So let's go back button, right? Or apps, just click on the apps. Wow. And then we go for configure store settings. Now manage app acquisition settings, including turning off purchases for end users in the SharePoint store. So I'm going to click configure store settings now. And not a lot of options here. So app purchases, should end users be able to get apps from the marketplace? There's a yes, and there's quite far away on the right side there is no as well, right? So we have to travel from here, and once we reach here, so end users should be able to purchase, definitely no should be the answer here. Users should not be able to add any app themselves. They should be requesting the admin, and the admin should be able to add the apps on behalf of the user after the approval of the user's boss, manager, and they need to show a business case that they really need it, and how is it useful for the business, for the company, and then they have to get approval for finances from the financial supervisor, and once all the approvals are done and business case is approved, and it seems like it's going to be very useful for the business, then only they go for this. So end users cannot purchase directly, right? So okay, click no here, and then click here to view app requests. So app requests, view the list of app requests. Users can request apps if they are unable or choose not to get apps directly from the SharePoint store. So this is just going to take you to that app request portion, which we already saw on app catalog. We don't need to go there. And then there is apps for Office from the store. So documents stored on the sites of this tenant may contain apps for Office from several sources. So maybe there are apps already purchased from different vendors. This option determines whether apps for Office from the store can be started when an end user opens a document in the browser. This will not affect apps for Office from this tenant's app catalog. So what it says in English is that the end user should be able to open the document. Suppose the end user is trying to open PDF, right? And you've purchased the Adobe Reader for that. So should the end user be able to use Adobe Reader to open this or not, right? So it's just about, so should apps for Office from the store be able to start when documents are opened in the browser? Well, yeah, if you have purchased the app from the store, yes, it should be able to start, so it's a yes. Suppose your boss is opening PDF and it doesn't start the app from the store. You must have purchased a license, obviously, and then let the app start from the store. Otherwise, suppose the boss clicked the PDF and there's no license purchased for that already, so it's gonna prompt you for the license. Okay, so here it's just apps purchase option, so we click the no button here and let's press O and K, and then comes the monitor apps. So again, track usage of applications and review errors. So let's click that monitor apps here, and so what app you want monitored, obviously you need to add that app. So let's click the add app. So once we click the add app here, so there's one app that we already added, that is Adobe Sign for SharePoint Online. So let's click that Adobe Sign for SharePoint Online and press add. So once it is added, there's a select button here as well, and license purchased unlimited, licenses in use unlimited, installed locations 1, source is SharePoint Store, status is okay. So there's that view details, and there's a view errors as well. So if you go ahead and select that, and there's a view details here, so let's select the app and let's click the view details button. So I'm going to click that view details button now, and so it just gives you the details. Failed install 0, failed upgrade 0, runtime error 0, installed location 1, install events, uninstall events, and it goes for the usage, which is no usage at all, launches, unique users. So that's a very good monitoring page there for every app, that how much of which app actually was used. So I'm just going to click back, or I'm going to click that apps. I'm going to click on top of that apps as well, just to go back, and then go again back to the monitor apps, right? Go again back to the monitor apps. So the app is showing there, and this is how apps can be added. So screenshot number 9 is monitoring SharePoint apps. Screenshot number 9 is monitoring SharePoint apps. Monitoring SharePoint apps. Screenshot 9. Monitoring SharePoint apps. Monitoring SharePoint apps. Okay. Now we can just go back to this apps here. Let's click the apps to go back to the console, and let's go for the app permissions. So manage app access to this tenant. Manage app access to this tenant. So we're going to click app permissions here. So you can see not much here other than common data service, and even that is if you click this, it's not clickable. So it's just showing you that it has the permission to run or to connect to the background data services there and to retrieve data from there, as well as it is allowed to run inside Office 365. It is allowed to excuse me, apps are allowed to connect to Office 365 Exchange Online, right? So apps are allowed to connect to Office 365 Exchange Online, as well as connect to common data services or any data sources that are there. So whatever is added there is already these are the services available for the apps, or the permissions that are available for the apps. Okay, so not much here. And find app principal by identifier, but we haven't added a lot of apps there. Suppose you have added for apps for Exchange, suppose you've added apps for Teams, and more apps for SharePoint. So there could have been more permissions that would have been automatically added here, but these are the only two that are showing there. So we can go back and click the apps button here. So that's all about the apps itself, and we can go back out to the main SharePoint screen. So we're just gonna click the now where's the navigation back to the main site here. Okay, so I'm just going to, if I click back, that's gonna take us to all this. So why don't we just go back to the main site, which is a separate tab. In fact, it is a separate tab. That's why it cannot go back to the main site. It was not on the same tab. Oh, okay. Now there's BCS there, and this is Business Continuity Services, and manage connections to data sources like Azure SQL databases or WCF services. Now, Business Connectivity Services basically offers you the connectivity to outside of the SharePoint applications. Let's. I'm going to click that. Learn more here. So in SharePoint, Microsoft 365, you can create business connectivity services (BCS) connections to data sources such as SQL, Azure databases, or Windows Communication Foundation (WCF) web services. So that are outside the SharePoint site. So any of those data sources mentioned above can be connected that are outside of the SharePoint. So suppose there is you have there's M365 here, Microsoft 365, and inside here you have SharePoint SP, right? So you got SharePoint here, and through SP feature called BCS, which is Business Connectivity Services, you are able to connect to, suppose this is Azure Cloud Service Provider, or IaaS, Infrastructure as a Service, and inside Azure you went for Azure databases, right? Database, and that database is already suppose connected to some applications. So suppose there are some applications that are creating data. Suppose the end users are connecting to these applications, and so all the users are connecting to these applications, logging into it. Suppose it's a financial application. Suppose it's some survey, maybe, right? Survey is going on, an online survey you're filling up, and thousands of users are completing that survey there, or whatever application that is letting the users create and change and read data, right? So that data is going from this application to the database. So application is sending the data to the databases, so it's filling up, it's taking Azure underlying space as well, but you wanted that data to be also available in SharePoint. So SharePoint is under Microsoft 365, which is SaaS platform, right? Software as a service, and this is IaaS, or infrastructure as a service. So the infrastructure as a service based resource, the database, is collecting all the information, and then after so BCS, what it does is it helps the outside of the SharePoint and even outside of your subscription, any of the data sources that Microsoft 365 does not offer databases, right? So databases are offered by Azure Infrastructure as a Service. So through SharePoint BCS, you can connect a database that is running on Azure, or maybe AWS, or maybe Google Cloud, or any other cloud services, or on-premises services even. That databases are connected. So BCS can help you connect that database with it's going to know the top user counter. Suppose the administrator, you have the database admin account there. So BCS is going to ask that what is the username, password. Admin is a username and the PW here, and what is the username, password for your SharePoint top user. So whichever is the highly privileged user here, admin, and PW here as well. So BCS will take the top users of both sides, and in order to connect them with obviously the highest privileges, or whatever are the required privileges. And basically the point is that applications create data, they store it inside databases, and you want a copy of that data to be available for the SharePoint users by there's a feature called list. There's a service called list, and that list, you could just create a list, and you can create as many columns there, and then the list starts filling up, right? So that's what it does. The database just can be connected to the list service inside SharePoint, and then over the internet, from the cloud service provider Azure to the cloud SaaS service provider called Microsoft 365, over the secure internet HTTPS connection, you can send the data from the databases to the SharePoint list, and whatever users connect here and create data, the data first goes to database, and then it fills up here, and its copy is then sent to the through BCS. BCS just connecting bridge there to the SharePoint site here, right? So this is one example of how BCS, or business connectivity services, can really work, and that is to connect an outside resource to the SharePoint, and then this data will be automated. Whenever the data comes up here, it's going to synchronize. That synchronization would be not synchronous replication, or that replication will not be synchronous. That would be asynchronous replication. Obviously, when we're talking about WAN connectivity, so it's always asynchronous replication, which is slower than the synchronous replication. And in asynchronous replication, what happens is that your data would first get saved here, and when it is acknowledged and made sure that the data is successfully saved here, then it is sent across the internet or across the WAN to the other destination for a copy to be created there. So it will always be asynchronous replication because it's over the WAN, it is slow. Synchronous replication should always be used in LAN because it's fast and same time replication and zero data loss. In asynchronous replication, there is a data loss there as well if there's a disconnectivity while the data is traveling over the WAN. So this is overall the structure of BCS. You can not only connect it to the online to online, but to the on-premises as well. Suppose you have a Toronto branch here and Tor branch, and you have that databases here. Obviously, they should be published and properly connected. The safest way to connect a database from the on-premises would be to use the ADFS server here and Active Directory Federation services, and then so locally if the users are connecting to applications, so the story is the same. Applications receive user connectivity and data, and they send that data to the databases, and if from the on-premises branch you want to send the data to SharePoint online, then you have to use the secure ADFS connection, and through that you will obviously BCS will arrange all that too, and it would need the required privileged credentials from the local on-premises site as well, and then you can go through BCS to the SharePoint list here as well. So it's all automatic after that once you configure that. But what provides services is the BCS, or business continuity or connectivity services. I'm just saying continuity, it's actually connectivity, business connectivity service. So either online or on premises, the BCS service, business connectivity service, lets you connect any outside application to fill up, which is a data source, which is just creating a lot of data, and then that data is traveling to either over the WAN. Actually, in both cases, it's traveling over the WAN, either from on-premises or branch, or from the cloud itself. It's going to be regular synchronization or replication. So I'll just take a print screen of that and put it here. So business connectivity services, overall this is how it looks like, and or the concept is that it just grabs data from the data sources that are outside of SharePoint. So I'm going to click open here for BCS. Let's click the open here for BCS, and it opens in another tab. And then it just shows you some options there: manage BDC models there, and external content types. Manage external content types that are not restricted to an app. These can be used on any site. Manage connections to online services. Manage connection settings to online OData, open data services. You can configure apps to use these connections, and then manage connections to on-premises services. So exactly what we talked about. So these are some of the connectivity options there, that you want to connect to an online service, or you want to connect to an on-premises data source, or any kind of external content types that is external to SharePoint, and you want to fill up that your SharePoint list with that data regularly. So these are just the business connectivity services. Let's take screenshot number 10 for business connectivity services, or BCS. So SharePoint BCS would be the name. Screenshot 10 here, SharePoint BCS. Screenshot 10, SharePoint BCS. Business connectivity services. Screenshot 10, SharePoint BCS, or business connectivity services. SharePoint BCSR, Business Connectivity Services. And let's go back to, oh, this is the same page actually, so I'm going to go to the other tab here. So we're going to talk about the rest of the services in the next class. You can just go ahead and upload that, all the screenshots there, and see you next week. And we're going to just go for the rest of the features, and then we're going to temporarily talk about OneDrive policies, plus the Teams, Microsoft Teams, that is also part of the collaboration features in Microsoft 365. So okay, so let's upload all the screenshots. Upload where is a very interesting question, so I'll have to arrange that where thing. Oh, name of screenshot 10 is SharePoint BCS. Oh, what am I doing? Okay. Okay guys, refresh and upload the week 11.